We were expecting to get this document soon. This is on the future relationship, is it? But it looks like there are still a number of issues unsolved. What's the state of play?
Hi, good morning, Anna. We were hoping to get this document, but still, like you point out, there are a number of issues. One of them, of course, is a transition period, and you see there's a mismatch between the UK and the European Union. The European Union said maybe we could go for 2022. Theresa May yesterday, well, I want that to be done before the general election. Again, other sticking points have to do with the political declaration, how all-encompassing do we want that to get, the trade deal that the UK might potentially get, fishing rights. That's also a big sticking point. But what you mentioned before, really what we see now is there's countries like Germany and France which are also saying we shouldn't give too much in this political declaration, because the bottom line is Theresa May should not claim victory when it comes to Brexit. And I think all of this, you have to really see it in the context of the European election for 2019. They want to really send out a clear message that it's much better to be inside the European Union, even if you don't like all of it, than to leave. So again, now you would think the European Union would be willing to lend Theresa May a helping hand just to make sure she can get this done in Parliament. But the feeling we're getting in Brussels is that it's actually the opposite. They want to send a very clear message that the UK would have been much better staying in the EU than leaving.
And of course, we're very focused on whether it can get through Parliament in early December, Maria. But before we get to that point, the EU 27 have to agree. And Spain is also threatening to oppose the deal. I think this has, as often is the case, something to do with Gibraltar. Could there be a veto before Sunday?
Right, and I think this was unexpected, and really the language that we heard yesterday from the Spanish Foreign Minister was quite tough. I think it took everyone by surprise. He said, well, if nothing is agreed until everything is agreed, that's our position. And like you point out, it's no surprise that Spain has for many years said Gibraltar is not really part of the UK and should be treated differently. Now, the sticking point here is in the text, they don't think this is made clear or clear enough. Spain is saying we don't want to use the word veto, but we think if this doesn't get tweaked by Sunday, the summit should not take place. Now, we understand Michel Barnier, who obviously thinks he's got the right text now, has been in conversations with Spain. Obviously, nobody wants to get to that point. But I think the significance of this really is the first time we see a big member state that's come out and said, we don't like the way Michel Barnier has done this. We don't agree with it. And until now, it was quite the opposite. The EU had managed to stay very closely united behind Michel Barnier. So this is something that, as I said, took a lot of people by surprise yesterday, in particular the tone of the language.